Hi everybody, this is Jonathan and Angela Scott, the Big Cat People, talking to you from home here in Nairobi, Kenya, and looking back in the fifth of our The World as It Looked from where we are over the last year. Because in March, a year ago, March 2020, we were all set to travel to the Serengeti, the big brother in Tanzania of the Maasai Mara in Kenya, where we spend so much of our time watching big cats. And then the reality of COVID struck, and it was impossible to travel. And ever since that time, March, 12 months ago, we've been basically stayed at home here in Nairobi. And what a beautiful place if you had to be locked down. And we certainly haven't let the grass grow under our feet. We've managed to complete Sacred Nature 2, our latest book, reconnecting people to our planet, and to give air, to give wings to the Sacred Nature Initiative through your amazing generosity during our Kickstarter campaign during the month of February. And what an incredible time that was. I mean, we barely slept. We were just constantly trying to keep the momentum building. And it was a team effort. It was a family effort. It was the Big Cat team. Our son David, his fiancée Tori, who live in Santa Fe, just worked miracles. They designed a beautiful campaign and they created something which really engaged with people. And in the same way that David designed the book, Sacred Nature 1, Life's Eternal Dance, and Sacred Nature 2, reconnecting people to our planet, he really, with Tori, managed to create something which enabled us to create an event. And as I say, your participation, your generosity, it just, what can I say? It was more than we could ever have hoped for. And so we've certainly been able to put this last year to good effect. But for many people, young and old, this has been an incredibly stressful time. And there are times when we feel a bit low. And then we say to ourselves, keep it simple, stick to a routine, find your purpose, follow your purpose, try and eat well, try and stay fit, get on the bicycle in your gym or in your back room if you have one. If you can't go out and exercise freely, like Angie, go and have a swim. So try to keep yourself occupied. And we know that people have been doing that, but we also know from talking to friends in the medical profession, the toll that the COVID pandemic has taken on people's health, not just physically, but mentally as well. And certainly things have changed out of all proportion, because when we were young, the world was our oyster. We could travel wherever we wanted to. We could jump on a plane, we could go to Antarctica, we could go to India, to the Pantanal to look for jaguars. We could go, wherever we chose. And the way people traveled was so different. Suddenly people would come to the Maasai Mara for a long weekend from the UK, from America. I think that one of the benefits of this hiatus, of this past year, has been that it's actually given people time to think a little bit more carefully, a little bit more deeply about what their lives are really about, what's important in life. Well, we know family and friends, of course, but that idea of having a purpose. And when it comes to travel, of really thinking about where it is you would want to go. And investing time, perhaps not just racing around if you come on safari, thinking that a great safari will be to go to Amboseli and Samburu, to Lake Nakuru, Lake Bogoria, up to Laikipia, as well as the Maasai Mara. Wonderful. But you'll barely unpack before you're moving on to your next camp or lodge. So think carefully about where your next major trip is going to be. And when you make it, make sure you spend quality time in one place. I mean, we've spent the last 40 plus years following big cats in one place, the Maasai Mara, well, Serengeti as well. And so it's essential to really savor every moment. And if you're a photographer, to put down your camera at times and just look, just appreciate. Talking about photography, well, one of the things that we've been doing is is we've been engaging with Kelby One, Scott Kelby and his group, who organize seminars and organize events for photographers, amateurs through to professional photographers. And those events, we just did a wildlife conference with them over 2 days, 16th, 17th of March, 12 different speakers, an educational opportunity for us to learn more about how to process your images, how to file your images, how to do the hard slog, not just clicking the shutter button, but then making the most of your pictures, thinking about what it is you want to say as a photographer. And thinking about that, we've been a couple of times now, well, in fact, 3 times, working with Paramal and Art Wolf on something called The Earth is Our Witness. Google it, check it out. They've got some wonderful photographers talking about their craft, showing their images and discussing it with Art and Paramal, why they are taking pictures, what it is they're trying to say with their pictures. And just recently they had a person we met many years ago, Freeman Patterson, a photographer now in his 80s, who survived a double liver transplant. He says he feels better than ever before, and who just looks and sees and quietly becomes present to what he's looking at and surprises you with his pictures. Simple, abstract compositions at times. And then shares that with you. But as he says, photograph for yourself. Photograph for what you love. Photograph what it is that you want to reveal the wonder of to other people. Don't let other people try and influence you unnecessarily. Yes, look at other people's work. Be inspired by it. But have your own voice. Like Angie says about sacred nature. We've all got our own sacred nature. We all have an inner voice which speaks to us. And when we look, we see in a very particular way. And when we photograph, we have the opportunity to express ourselves without words. Imagine what that would be like for me. So these opportunities, as I say, we didn't want the pandemic to happen. But as always, there's opportunity that comes your way. When one door closes, another opens. So for us as photographers, 40 years in the business, the opportunity to work with Scott Kelby, Kelby One, and to evolve our own skills, to be more disciplined, to be more thoughtful about the way we photograph. And with David and Tori, to evolve the Sacred Nature Initiative, remember, based on 3 pillars. To inspire, we hope, with our images and with our conversations and talks and with our TV programs. To educate, to impart knowledge, to make you aware of places which are vulnerable, of wilderness areas that are under threat, and so many are. And then ultimately enabling you with that information to be able to help conserve what's important to you. And so looking ahead, because believe me, however remote that spot of light might be, filtering through the forest, filtering through the woods towards you, beckoning to you, saying that there's going to be a new beginning. Believe that things will change. As the Buddhists say, Buddhism, the idea of impermanence. And yes, bad things can happen. You don't know what tomorrow will bring. But that's why it's so important that every moment that you are breathing, respect that gift of time. Think carefully what it is you want to do with it. Don't be wasteful with your time and energy. And share your love and your gratitude with friends, with strangers. A smile. I was going to say a handshake, but no, not that. And even though perhaps this summer, this August, you won't be necessarily traveling overseas. Who knows? Let's hope you can. Let's hope that the vaccines will enable us to start to move around safely without actually endangering other people's lives. But that day will come. So whether you're young or old, believe in the future. There is a future, a better future, a sacred nature future. A future where we care more about each other and more about the health of the planet and its wild inhabitants. So, That's how the world's looking to us right now here in Nairobi, Kenya. A wonderful country. The sun is shining. I'm going to go out and just enjoy the bird song as the light begins to fade. So wherever you are, we wish you a good evening and lots of love from the Big Cat people and the Big Cat team. Bye-bye.